Is there anything Rick Santorum does understand? Is there anything Scott Walker does understand? Is there anything Alex Jones does understand? For July 17th, 2015, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in sunny, rainy, Cranston, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For July 17th, 2015, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Rick Santorum, that paragon of even-tempered reasoning, has declared that gay marriage is part of a plot to make the United States a secular theocracy. He is operating under the notion that he and his Christian friends are being, or about to be, forced to conform to the sexual orthodoxy of the gays. He actually said, Roe v. Wade is the cancer that is eating away at the body of American freedom, and we're turning into this oligarchy of judges who can impose their will on the American public. This is so troubling on so many levels. You have the abuse of the court and really robbing us of our republic. You have the abuse of the First Amendment and imposing their religious doctrine. You can say, what do you mean, religious? Their sexual orthodoxy, let's call it that. Their morality on the rest of the country, and the destructive element of that. And then, finally, the destructive element being the impact on the nuclear family. I've been warning about all of these things, and they've all come together in this one suit. Let me see if I've got this straight. Letting women decide whether to continue a pregnancy and letting people marry the people they love, irrespective of whether they're a boy-girl pair, that's eating away at your freedom? Look, Rick, if you're not already into autoerotic asphyxiation, I would suggest you might enjoy it. With any luck, if you got really good at it, you could remove yourself from the American political landscape. Please? Wisconsin's anti-labor pro-theocracy governor, Scott Walker, has finally eliminated all doubt and announced that he is insane, saying, my relationship with God drives every major decision in my life. Each day I pray, and then I take the time to read from the Bible and a devotional named Jesus Calling. As you imagine, the months leading up to my announcement that I would run for the President of the United States were filled with a lot of prayer and soul-searching. Here's why. I needed to be certain that running was God's calling, not just man's calling. I am certain this is God's plan for me, and I am humbled to be a candidate for the President of the United States. And then, to seal the crazy deal, he said, our U.S. Constitution calls for freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. The founders of this exceptional country took religious freedom very seriously, and we must redouble our efforts to protect these freedoms today. So, Scott Walker will slot right into the GOP clown car as a completely undifferentiated Christian conservative totalitarian. Cool. Good to know where we stand. In a surprising turn, an executive committee of the Boy Scouts of America has announced that the BSA would allow openly gay adults to hold leadership positions. Considering that 6 of the top 7 chartered organizations sponsoring local Boy Scout organizations are conservative Christian churches with decidedly anti-gay positions, and by far the top 3, both in terms of youth members and numbers of units, are the Mormons, who you may remember were behind Prop 8 in California, the Methodists, and the Catholic Church. I don't know who was on that executive committee, but this outcome is sure to cause controversy. I'm making popcorn as soon as I'm done here. The city of Irvine, California, is considering adding the phrase, "In God We Trust," in giant letters to its city council chambers. This is a really popular trend in Orange County, California, with 20 cities putting up the exclusionary motto in recent years. Frankly, I think I'd rather see the city just sell the naming rights to the council chambers to Disney. Don't think Disney wouldn't jump at that chance. Back in June, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill into law which permitted open carry of firearms. Gun rights advocates took this to mean that they could open carry any damn where they pleased. As it turns out, that's not what the law permits. Property and business owners retain the right to say, "No thanks," to open carry, except in the case of law enforcement officers. The CEO of Whataburger, a Texas-based fast food chain known for its family-friendly atmosphere, posted the company's policy regarding open carry on its website. That policy? No. Concealed carry with a valid permit and open carry by law enforcement officers is permitted, but open carry by ordinary citizens is not. Predictably, the entire gun rights advocacy butthurt committee swung into full boo-hoo mode. Dennis Polyblank tweeted, "At Whataburger, boycott Whataburger for defying Texas and #2A law." And Naomi Naves tweeted, "At Andfinsoln, at P. Venable, I concur. I'm avoiding at Whataburger too. I will try to avoid gun-free zones as much as possible. #2A, #open carry." Just to be clear, Whataburger is not defying the law, it's exercising its rights under the law. But that's okay, Linus. If you can't feel safe eating without a gun on your hip, you can go ahead and, have a picnic in the park. Hey gang, it's time for celebrity birthdays once again. I got my cake hat on. Let's rock. For the 11th, E.B. White, dead. For the 12th, Buckminster Fuller, dead. For the 13th, Sir Patrick Stewart. For the 14th, Bob Cassell, dead. For the 15th, Forrest Whitaker. For the 16th, Will Ferrell. For the 17th, Donald Sutherland. That's celebrity birthdays. I'm Paul Torvald and I'm done. Away, wrinkly thing. Up next, how many Bond villains does it take to defeat Hillary Clinton? Can you tell the difference between Welsh and Klingon? And is Alex Jones secretly building a resort in Guyana? Hi, I'm Paul Torvald. You may know me from my portrayal of Kris Kringle in the Rhode Island Stage Ensemble's 2013 production of Miracle on 34th Street. I've got 2 short-range goals for this show, and I'm wondering if you'd be willing to help me out. First, I'm trying to increase viewership. With the recent success of my appearance on Packard Pokesat, and if you haven't checked out his channel, I strongly urge you to, I'm interested in doing collaborative work with other YouTubers or appearing on other shows or podcasts. If there's somebody you'd like to see me collaborate with, or if there's a show you'd like to see me on, please post a comment to this video. Also, in the interest of increasing viewership, I've become concerned that 20 minutes may be too long for a show on YouTube. What are your thoughts? Should NewsUndies be longer or shorter or just like it is? Do you have an opinion? If so, please comment. Second, I'm looking into finding a way of defraying some of the costs of maintaining the facilities and equipment I need to keep NewsUndies rocking along as it does. I'm considering starting a Patreon project, but to make it worthwhile, considering that there are typically about 100 views on each new full episode of NewsUndies, I would need each of those 100 viewers to donate about $5 a month to make a significant dent in the cost of operating the studio and bringing you all the news that shouldn't be news every week. Is that something that you'd be interested in helping with? Please answer in the comments below. Thank you for your continued viewership and support of this show. Scott Walker. The multi-state military exercise called Jade Helm 15 has commenced. People all over the southwestern United States are revving up their portable generators, cleaning their guns, and polishing their tinfoil hats in anticipation of the inevitable invasion by the Obama administration. Apart from the complete lack of any military action against residents or state or local governments of the states hosting Jade Helm 15, Jade Helm 15 is the greatest threat to the sovereignty of states and citizens since, ever. As we all know, the best strategy for military conquest is to make your target aware of your completely non-threatening plans well in advance, and then plant thoroughly implausible conspiracy theories among the already paranoid doomsday preppers and anarchists peppered throughout the land you're about to target. Finally, you strike, doing exactly what you said you were going to do, not realizing the conspiracy theories, but merely doing the completely non-threatening thing. That is how you conquer a land that's already part of your land, that you have no need or desire to conquer. The website biblicalgenderroles.com recently posted an article, the title of which is My Husband Raping Me? I'll save you the trouble of reading this abysmal heap of parrot droppings and give you the brief, sensible, decent human answer. If you do not wish to have sex and express your feelings to your partner, and your partner pressures you to have sex and proceeds to have sex with you without your consent, then yes, your partner is raping you. Biblical Gender Roles, however, imparts this little rhinestone of wisdom. Aside from his physically harming her by forcing himself upon her, no, he is not abusing his wife from a biblical perspective. Even if he did physically force himself upon her, it is impossible, biblically speaking, for a man to rape his wife. Abuse? Yes. Rape? No. It goes on to say, if he convinces her to yield her body to him, then no sin has been committed on his part. But it is very possible that even if she yields to him, there is still sin on her part. If she acts disgusted by him or acts like he has no right to have sex with her, then the sin lies squarely in her court. She needs to eliminate the terms rape and molester from her vocabulary regarding her husband's sexual advances toward her. Convinces her to yield. That's romance. Wales is a special place that gets a lot of ribbing, but apparently the Welsh can dish it out as readily as they can take it. Shadow Health Minister Darren Millar has asked for details on UFO sightings at the Cardiff airport. An as-yet unnamed Welsh government spokesman replied, Jang vida je tu look. Ach gochtone ki yo devolve koch. When asked a ridiculous question, is it appropriate to answer in Klingon? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts.
That was Klingon? That sounded like Welsh to me. Who are you kidding? You never even heard Welsh before. I'd be curious to know what Darren Millar is on about. I mean, UFOs? Seriously? I mean, yes, you can have UFOs without alien spacecraft, but usually when people talk about UFOs, they're talking about little green men. There is yet to be produced any credible evidence of spacecraft of otherworldly origin visiting the Earth, to say nothing of any otherworldly occupants of such a craft. I suspect Mr. Millar might be the UK's answer to Sarah Palin.
That's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. And now for the week ending July 17th, here's Paul Torville with your exclusive Pastcast weather. Here's your exclusive Pastcast weather. The southern Atlantic coast had a few thunderstorms, and then cool in the north, warm to the south, followed by tropical storm threat. I don't know why they would threaten a tropical storm, but they did. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Florida had scattered thunderstorms, warm, and a tropical storm threat. So they're ganging up on the tropical storm, apparently. I don't know. The Great Lakes region had thunderstorms, and it was hot and humid. Both. I'm Paul Torville, and that's your exclusive Pastcast weather. This stinks! This is total BS! Still to come, Xenu to finally get a fair shake, and sure, he's insane, but how insane?
Have you been injured in an accident, or can you pretend to have been? If so, we may be entitled to 40% of any settlement you receive. We're the law offices of Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, and we've spent over half a century profiting from the pain and suffering of people who, in some cases, didn't even know they were suffering or in pain. At Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, our attorneys have the skills and experience necessary to turn almost any activity into billable hours, and that means you can pay us more. Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, specializing in personal injury, family law, product liability claims, and almost any other area where emotion weighs more than evidence. Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, getting richer off your mild discomfort since 1955.
And now, here's Moose Weintraub with the Sports Half Minute.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
This is your Sports Half Minute. I'm Moose Weintraub. Al Mulb has won his third All-Star game in a row. Who the hell is Al Mulb?
Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. That angry, paranoid, fact-free word salad generator Alex Jones is at it again. His latest clearly counterfactual creation, as far as I can make out, is the idea that the UN, in collaboration with the gays and the transgenders, seek to replace all of us with asexual humanoids. He arrives at this conclusion, apparently, because there are books out there in the world, such as Heather Has Two Mommies, which, according to Jones, are an attempt to sexualize children, which he called the result of space cult, suicide cult, exterminism craziness. And then he went on to say, the eugenics transhumanist cult wants to confuse the general species ahead of rendering us down and removing us. The plan is an asexual humanoid, even if they decide to keep us around, stated in hundreds of textbooks. Jesus H. Christ, Alex! Where are you getting your books? I don't know what the fuck you've been reading, but you have got to stop it right away. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? If ever there was a need to make life more like art, and I'm using the term art so loosely that I can't really think of a metaphor to describe how loosely I'm using the term. Well, that time is now, at least from the standpoint of the Church of Scientology. According to the Daily Mail, that's in England, the church has purchased the former studios of public TV station KCET at 4401 Sunset Boulevard and is building its new media empire there. Reportedly, one of the functions of the facility will be to produce programming for an all-news media channel centered on Scientology, of course. And in case you were wondering, it is unlikely that the new news channel will produce any stories which present Scientology in an unflattering light. Some have called the purpose of the new Scientology media production facility propaganda. But given the secretiveness of the church and the reportage of those who have left it, I'm guessing those characterizations are simply not false. In any event, it seems a shame that the studio that produced Carl Sagan's highly respected PBS miniseries Cosmos: A Personal Voyage is now in the hands of the Church of Scientology. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at newsundies.com or on Twitter with the hashtag NUSTip. NewsUndies is a weekly show. We'll be back on Friday, July 24th with fresh undies. If you like this video, please like this video. If you like the show, please spread the word. Got a question, comment, or suggestion? Leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, circle us on Google+, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ignore us on MySpace, tell your friends, and buy NewsUndies Kitsch at newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at NewsUndies, until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be drinking myself silly at the Tiki Tea, lamenting the fate of the KCET studios. Thanks to story tippers Jeff, the God of Biscuits, Simon, the God of Hairdos, and Anonymous. And as always, thanks to Packard Sonic, Highway, Randy Brush, ZenCat999, The Real Paul Marshall, The Quiet Atheist, Victor Brown, John Bear, Patrizia Fiorentini, and all of you for watching, sharing, and enjoying the show. I just want to tell you good luck. We're all counting on you.